Welcome to the Beckoning Bookshelf. I'm your host, Jeffrey Ashcraft. What makes a story that was written 126 years ago still well known and beloved today? The wonderful Wizard of Oz was written by L. Frank Baum and first published in the year 1900, and apparently was a massive success when it was published. According to Wikipedia, the first printing of 10,000 copies sold out in about a month, and the second printing of 15,000 copies sold out soon after. I wasn't able to directly verify this myself, but Wikipedia seems to be sourcing a New York Times article from October 1900, so I assume it's legitimate? By the time the story entered the public domain in 1956, it reportedly had sold 3 million copies. This book was also followed by 13 sequels, creating a 14-book series, and several adaptations and additional media, including movies, stage productions, and several non-canon books. In the year 2000, the United States Library of Congress even described the book as, quote, America's greatest and best loved homegrown fairy tale, close quote. And since its release to the public domain, a variety of publishers and booksellers have published their own copies of the classic fairy tale. This copy here is from Barnes & Noble's Children's Collectible series and was published in 2013. And I think it's a beautiful book, beautiful cover, though it's not wholly book accurate. I mean, first off, you have a picture of Dorothy from the 1939 film here, and the film Dorothy is older than the book Dorothy. And you also have the ruby slippers from the movie, even though the slippers are silver in the book. And I think this is the Emerald City down here, even though it's yellow. And the Emerald City is green. It's the Emerald City. I only say that because it looks like the Emerald City from the movie, except it's the wrong color. Anyways, still a beautiful cover. Now, this edition also includes illustrations that W.W. Denslow did for the original edition of the book. Though I don't know if it has all the illustrations and if they're represented here in the same way that they were represented in the original. But regardless, the illustrations are fun, if a little weird sometimes. So what is this book about? Well, it's hard to imagine anyone who isn't familiar with The Wizard of Oz, at least the synopsis and premise, given the success of the book, the movie adaptation from 1939, and the stage musical of the non-canon prequel. I mean, everybody has to know at least a little something about The Wizard of Oz, but I'm going to give a synopsis anyway. A young girl named Dorothy finds herself whisked away from Kansas by a cyclone and winds up in the strange land of Oz. Well, she wishes to go home, and the Good Witch of the North tells Dorothy to go see the Great Wizard of Oz, who lives in the City of Emeralds. So Dorothy sets off along the yellow brick road to find the wizard and see if he knows how to get her back to Kansas. And there you go. There's the premise of the book. So this is my first Oz book. It's the first Oz book I've ever read, and I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was great. It is a wonderful, well-told, entertaining fairy tale, though I am a little disappointed due to an expectation that I had. Over the years, I have heard that this book is not only different from the 1939 film, but is far creepier and more unnerving. And so I was quite interested and curious to see how different and creepy the original book actually was. I mean, was it similar to Return to Oz, the far less successful and far creepier and stranger sequel to the 1939 film? Well, in the end, no. In fact, I think the book is quite tame, personally. The most unnerving thing I found in the book was the demise of the Wicked Witch of the West, which is similar to the movie, just has more details, which is gross. And the creepiest thing, and I suppose most surprising thing that I found in the book was the spider. I mean, it's kind of like something got lost from Middle-earth and wound up in Oz. It seems totally out of place and really was kind of creepy. But anyways, other than that, I didn't really find anything else really unnerving or creepy about it. But I could see how some people could find it creepy, especially if they read it as children. If I read this book as a child, I would definitely view the book differently, because as children, stories are far more real and vivid. But as an adult, it all seems pretty basic, since I've read a lot of really weird things. Also, the book isn't written in a creepy way at all. So all of the potentially unnerving and creepy things are all kind of just presented as normal things in Oz. Just like, oh yeah, that thing just happens. It's just life here. And so it's not presented in a creepy way pretty much at all. And I think that's another reason why I didn't find it all that unnerving. But anyways, I am just talking about book one here. I haven't read the others. The others may be plenty creepy. I have no idea. But let's return to the initial question I asked. What makes this story still well known today, even though it was written so many years ago? Well, let's go back to the Library of Congress's description of the book. So they said it was America's greatest and best-loved homegrown fairy tale. This statement is part of an exhibition page that the library created to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the book. But why did the book deserve such high praise? Well, according to that exhibition page, it is partly because the fairy tale has Kansas in it. Yeah, and that's a bit of an oversimplification, but that is a strong part of it. However, I don't think that's what makes this book so beloved. I mean, apart from people who live in Kansas, does anyone really care that the book starts in Kansas? No. The reason why the book is so beloved is because it has, as the Library of Congress puts it, universal appeal. It has relatable moral themes represented through a well-crafted story. These themes extend outside of time and borders and are relatable to pretty much everyone. One of those themes, one of the main themes of the book, is that we sometimes desire what we already have. And this is sometimes called limitation of self-perception. Like the scarecrow who desires a brain so that he can think. Even though throughout the adventure, we already see him think plenty of times. He solves a lot of problems himself. He is plenty smart. The Tin Man, he wants a heart so he can be kind and loving. Even though he is already kind and loving, he cries so much that his neck rusts because he stepped on a bug. And the Lion wants to be brave. He wants to have courage so that he's not so much a coward. But he already shows courage as he strives to protect his new friends. Even Dorothy has what she desired all along, a way home to Kansas. Though she actually has to be told how to get back to Kansas. And there's plenty of stuff to unpack there. Like, she didn't actually have the knowledge she needed. But yeah, that's a whole nother ballpark to discuss another time. But this is something that we often experience throughout our own lives. We desire to be cool, to be brave, to be liked, to be smart, whatever it be. And oftentimes, we already have those things. We're already cool, or we're already brave. We just have trouble seeing that ourselves. You know, because we're looking outside of ourselves and not looking inside of ourselves. Yeah, and I'm not going to go into this whole philosophical thing about why we do that and all that sort of stuff. But this book is a good reminder that we should believe in ourselves and find the virtues that we have, and that we can be the great men and women that we desire to be. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Have you read The Wizard of Oz? What do you think? Did you enjoy it? Did you like the book? Did you find it creepy? I particularly want to know if you found it creepy, and if so, what did you find creepy? Because I didn't really find it all that creepy, like I said. Have you seen the movie? Did you like the 1939 film? And what other Oz books have you read? What's your favorite Oz book? Because there's 14 of them, and I have no idea if I'm going to read all 14. Anyways, we'll see. Regardless, thank you for being here. Thank you always for being here. You are amazing. Now go find yourself a good book.